In July 1993, more than 2 million people flocked to the riverside from the region and beyond for the Tall Ships Festival, celebrating the vitality of our young people. The corporation took pride in helping to make the celebration memorable for the Northeast and our European visitors. For those watching by the rivers, the new Tyneside and Wearside were on show as a forward-looking region, decks cleared for action. Upriver, the corporation's first flagship development was admired by business visitors. The award-winning Newcastle Business Park was built on the site of once derelict shipyards. Its advanced communications links and high-quality amenities attracted British Airways, the AA, and many small employers. It sets the scene for this action report, introduced by the corporation's chief executive, Alistair Balls.
Over the next few minutes, you'll see some filming of the 4 major projects in Tyne and Wear and how far they've progressed in the last 12 months. The message I'd like you to take away, though, from this film is that our strategy is clear and our strategy is simple. The benchmark that we're aiming for is what you've seen on the Newcastle Business Park, and its quality, its scale and its impact. That's what we'd like to achieve on every single one of the 6 or 7 major developments which we'll undertake between now and the end of the decade. That's what we're all in business to try and achieve.
The next flagship downriver is the quayside itself. In 1986, the tall ships moored alongside crumbling quays and decaying Victorian buildings on a blighted waterfront. But now the quayside is being transformed with a major scheme developed by the corporation and backed by more than £60 million of public money, which in turn will attract almost £200 million from the private sector. Quayside will meet the proven demand for high-quality office and business premises, all urgently needed in the city. Most of the corporation's resources are concentrated on 6 flagship projects, huge developments which have a critical mass, diversity and balance to help regenerate the area around them. Developers have committed more than £530 million towards the corporation's target of £1.25 billion. Downriver, new industries are gaining ground. Despite temporary setbacks, the giant oil platforms at AMEC offshore are still providing jobs, which until recently didn't exist on the rivers. The corporation has backed the oil search industry with grants and expertise which already benefit the region's economy. And as the river widens at North Tyneside, 500,000 people enjoy a river vista close to the largest flagship site of them all, Royal Quays. 200 acres of once derelict dockland acquired by the corporation, which recognised its enormous potential. The corporation proposed a balanced development of housing for sale and to rent, factories, business premises and leisure facilities to attract visitors and their spending to the area. The board recognised the need to involve residents at Meadowwell and other communities in the benefits coming from Royal Quays. The corporation joined forces with the Tyneside Tech to work with community leaders. North Tyneside Council agreed to combine resources to build roads and to improve access to Howden, Meadowwell and North Shields. The corporation supported North Tyneside's successful City Challenge bid, which will help increase the impact of Royal Quays. After 2 years of site works, the final shape is fast emerging. Royal Quays is being linked with Meadowwell and neighbouring districts by a wide linear park, a green corridor from the river, bonding new communities with mature districts and the town itself. The Housing Corporation helped bring in 3 local housing associations, building low-cost homes to rent or with shared equity ownership. Royal Quays will eventually provide 1,200 homes. 300 will be social housing, some for people with special needs and the elderly. Already, more than 300 people have moved in. The first residents have been settled for over a year. Mr. and Mrs. Wiseman, who still use the shops at Meadowwell.
How old are your grandchildren?
The first factory, Twinings, already employs 250 people and is expanding. Another commercial development, more than 20,000 square feet, is planned. The first community centre was opened in October '93.
There is very nice
that will be provided with the community centre so quick after
The corporation is working with a powerful network of agencies to regenerate the whole district. So how significant is this cooperation?
The relationship between City Challenge and the Development Corporation is a genuine partnership, and it's a partnership that I think is really working not just between the two of us, but with the communities that we're each serving. For the first time in 20 years, I think Tyneside is seeing real change, and that's not just physical change, but I think change in attitudes and change in the view and the confidence of what people want and expect for the area, and that's important.
I think it's a real partnership because the people participating in it feel, even if they came late, some came early, they feel that they're actually gaining their own objectives faster than they would have done if they'd been participating on their own. But the scheme is so big, there's no question that one party could conceivably have done it on its own. Each of us, I think, on our own would have been hamstrung. It's the way we've all come together and we've each added to each other's contribution that's actually made the whole much greater than the sum of the parts.
The Inner Cities Minister, Sir George Young, visited Royal Quays and previewed the successful Wet and Wild water park. In just 3 months, more than 80,000 swimmers were attracted. Many came from Carlisle, Leeds and Edinburgh, bringing revenue to the North Shields economy. 60 local trainees were given a start and 30 have already found jobs at the water park. Sir George also signed deals for private housing agreements with Bellway, Cousins and Leach.
But then coming here and talking to local people who are plugged into the decision-making process, seeing the scale of what you've already achieved, talking to Alistair and the chairman about the plans for the future, one just gets an impression of total commitment, turning round an area that's got structural problems, working with the grain of local people, making the public pound travel by gearing in the private finance. And although I've been here for, I suppose, 8 minutes, one already detects a tremendous atmosphere, and that's exactly what I want to see.
Royal Quays continues a regeneration process at North Tyneside which began at North Shields in 1988. Today, the waterfront there shows a cleared site on the old ship repair yard. Heritage buildings like Collingwood Mansions are restored and occupied. At Dolphin Quay, 51 homes are complete and more will be built. A new factory for Young & Son is open, and so is the Fisheries Experience Centre. The Fish Quay area is enlarged and equipped for a modern, competitive fleet. The weir was the starting point for 2 northeast tall ships crews in the STA schooners, moored for the first time at North Dock Marina. This will become a marine activities centre with 200 berths opening in summer 1994. The North Sands Business Centre has been open a year and is already home to 20 companies. Housing at North Sands has made rapid progress. 188 of the 500 proposed homes are complete or being built. Sales of low-cost homes are exceptionally good, proving the growing demand for well-sited houses of this kind. Land around North Dock is being prepared for the remainder of the housing. Her Majesty the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh visited Britain's newest city. Her Majesty unveiled the book stacks sculpted from stone and glass, symbols of Sunderland University's links with Bede's scholarship at St. Peter's. Sunderland's links with Europe were strengthened by the visit of Dr. Otto Klepsch, President of the European Parliament. The corporation has won grants of £5 million for additional work to riverside developments at Sunderland. Dr. Klepsch took pride in his early start as a stonemason and laid a foundation stone for the new business school campus. He heard that the schools of business, computing and art and design will cover almost 24 acres of the 80-acre site.
It's tremendously exciting to come here and watch the campus growing day by day because it's so important to Sunderland and of course to the university. I think it's going to bring a great vitality into the centre of the city here by the river. Think of it, this will be a university which will have eventually 8,000 students on this campus, 2,000 or so staff. That's a lot of people down here by the waterfront, and those people will be learning here and working here, and of course wanting to spend a lot of their spare time here as well. Here we are right in the heart of Sunderland, able to connect with business, with industry, with people around us.
On the south bank of the Wear, at Pan's Bank, 270 student flats have risen in less than a year.
We found the Development Corporation to be helpful, responsive, excellent partners in every way. And I think it's really important for all of us that people are able to work across agencies like this in projects which are going to help a whole city and a whole region.
The once derelict Sunderland Forge area is now revitalised by more students at Pallion Park. 13 acres have been acquired and 7 acres will have up to 1,000 student flats. 300 of them are already occupied. Sunderland Enterprise Park is twice the size of Newcastle's Business Park and promises to become just as successful. The corporation's biggest job creation project will enhance Wearside's reputation as an advanced manufacturing centre. Already, half of all this is committed, under construction or complete, despite the recession. The finished developments in the centre are already well-recognised landmarks. Hilton Park is providing more than 200 jobs, while Hilton Riverside is bringing in new employers, with 75% of the space reserved. The Easter Management Group is building 4 industrial units at a cost of £6 million, ready by 1994. A retail centre is planned covering 10 acres. It will be promoted by the Terrace Hill Group. At the eastern sector of Sunderland Enterprise Park, progress on the site of the former NESL shipyard at Southwick is dramatic in its momentum. Wearside Tech's new Business Innovation Centre will open in spring 1994, providing facilities for up to 100 small companies. The first business to open on site was the German tunnelling equipment firm Herrennecht International. The corporation will invest more than £20 million in creating the Sunderland Enterprise Park, and this will bring in a further £80 million from the private sector. At South Tyneside, the Viking Industrial Park at Jarrow has a new business enterprise centre for Tedco under construction at a cost of £2.8 million. This will protect more than 200 jobs and provide for 150 more. There are now 30 acres of cleared sites ready for development and 21 acres more in preparation. The 30-acre site at Simonside has attracted Onwa Electronics, a major inward investment from Hong Kong. The corporation led a team backed by the Northern Development Company, South Tyneside Council and Tyneside Tech. The plant will employ almost 300 people, mainly local. And at South Shields, a historic building, the Custom House at Mill Dam, is being converted to an arts and entertainment centre, the first at South Tyneside. Contracts have been let, almost £2.4 million will be invested. And at Jarrow, the historic site is now known as Bede's World and is landscaped to provide a Saxon-style estate. An international museum is under construction, aided by an EC grant, TWDC support and a national fundraising campaign. The corporation's support for the arts in the community included commissioning the music for the Tall Ships fireworks send-off. To the millions who enjoyed the festival, the corporation's more permanent achievements lay on the riversides, in the lists of targets reached or exceeded, and in the corporation's intention to maintain the quality, impact and momentum of its work for the remaining flagship sites on Tyne and Wear.